Ever since Austin, Liam Lawson has officially stepped in for Daniel Ricciardo, indicating that the Australian driver's career with Red Bull might have come to an end. However, this doesn't mean his journey in the racing world is completely over. In fact, numerous opportunities still lie ahead for Ricciardo, including some unexpected offers from the Austrian team. Could it be possible that we'll see him stay connected with Red Bull in a new role? And if that happens, can he continue to contribute to the team's success from behind the scenes? Ricciardo's exit from the sport left fans puzzled, as it felt like a sudden ending to a story that had more chapters to tell. Despite everyone treating the Singapore race like his final lap, Red Bull never officially confirmed it. While the circumstances were unclear, Ricciardo shared an emotional message to his fans and teammates on Instagram. Now, with Liam Lawson in his place, the burning question is what's next for Ricciardo. Red Bull, criticized for their handling of his career, might have a new proposition on the table. Could Ricciardo be stepping into a role that could redefine his connection with the sport? Ricciardo's departure left many scratching their heads, especially since there wasn't a clear-cut announcement from the team. Despite the confusion, Ricciardo took a moment to thank his fans and engineers, showing his deep gratitude for their support throughout his journey. Now, with Liam Lawson stepping into the spotlight, one wonders what the future holds for Ricciardo. Red Bull, often criticized for its handling of drivers, has been under fire for their decision to replace Ricciardo before the season's end. Some fans argue that this was even harsher than how McLaren managed things. However, Red Bull might have a lifeline for Ricciardo, a new role outside the racing cockpit. The team has reportedly offered him a chance to stay on as an ambassador, an opportunity many retired drivers have sought. For instance, Lewis Hamilton once explored a similar deal with Mercedes, but couldn't reach an agreement due to financial disputes. Helmut Marko, a key figure at Red Bull, has spoken about offering Ricciardo a position in a different racing category. He mentioned Daniel Ricciardo is incredibly popular, especially in the United States. Although I doubt he'd be interested in trying NASCAR, I'm not sure if he would embrace all the public relations activities that come with an ambassador role if he steps away from active racing. This offer hints that Red Bull values Ricciardo's influence, particularly in markets like the US, and sees him as an asset even off the track. It's important to note that Ricciardo hasn't shown any signs of retiring just yet. At his age, it's premature to think that his racing days are behind him. After all, champions like Alonso and Raikkonen returned to the sport after taking a break and managed to find success in new roles. Ricciardo's future might still hold thrilling possibilities, but one thing is clear: his charisma and unique marketability set him apart from every other driver on the grid. This charm is what initially attracted brands like Visa, Cash App, and Hugo Boss into the world of motorsport. Despite the confusing circumstances surrounding his exit, Ricciardo was aware that his position with Red Bull was not guaranteed. Helmut Marko confirmed that the decision to replace him was based on various factors and obligations. According to Marko, Ricciardo knew this outcome was a possibility, which is why he remained calm and composed during his final races. Reflecting on the situation, Marko stated, "The timing of Ricciardo's departure was influenced by many elements. He was informed, and his final performance, securing the fastest lap, showed he still had potential. It wasn't enough to justify a full-time return to Red Bull racing. But it was an impressive performance nonetheless." Ricciardo's influence has undeniably been a driving force behind the support from key sponsors. It's no secret that companies like Visa and Cash App chose to back the team because of his presence. This puts Red Bull in a tricky spot, as these sponsors could reconsider their support now that the fan-favorite driver is no longer racing. While Lawson might prove himself as a worthy successor, the fact remains that he may not generate the same level of marketing appeal and revenue as Ricciardo. This is precisely why Red Bull is keen on keeping Ricciardo on board in some capacity. They're looking at offering him a role where he could represent the team and help spread their brand values through various PR activities. But will Ricciardo be open to such a change? Only time will tell. When he was released from McLaren, Red Bull gave him a second chance by allowing him to return. After failing to meet expectations in the short span he was given, the only real criticism towards the Austrian team is how his career ended in such a confusing manner. However, that's all in the past now. Looking forward, Red Bull aims to increase their fan base in the US, especially with their collaboration with Ford starting in 2026. And let's not forget Ricciardo's extravagant presence at the US races. Who could miss the sight of him dressed up as a cowboy, riding into the Circuit of the Americas in Austin on horseback? He embodied the American spirit during race weekends, making him an irreplaceable asset in that market. Red Bull sees this value and wants to leverage it to continue growing their brand, as well as those of key partners like Visa and Cash App across the United States. The main question now is whether Ricciardo is ready to take on such a role. After all, it's quite different from the adrenaline-fueled life of racing he has known. Still, the fact that Ricciardo has expressed a desire to take a step back and reflect on his career suggests that he might be open to this new chapter. It points to a scenario where the 8-time race winner could still play a prominent part in Red Bull's future, even if he's not behind the wheel. Still, Ricciardo not being an active part of the Red Bull racing lineup and his inability to meet the strict criteria required for a full-time return does impact his prospects of reclaiming a seat in Formula One. With only a limited number of seats available for 2025 and teams increasingly looking to invest in younger talents, his options seem limited. Currently, apart from Sauber, no other team appears to have an open spot for the 2025 season. With 4 rookies entering the sport next year, it's evident that teams and their executives are now placing more value on the drive and enthusiasm of upcoming stars than on the experience of seasoned racers. Sauber might still be an option, but they too have their own list of candidates. Right now, their focus includes drivers like Bottas, Valtteri, and Colapinto. However, with the team transitioning to become Audi in 2026, there's a chance they might reconsider and prioritize experience over youth. If so, Ricciardo could find himself back on their radar. Nonetheless, Helmut Marko's recent statements underline why Ricciardo wasn't considered for a Red Bull seat next to Verstappen, which ultimately sealed his fate with the team. Marko explained, "We were very clear that Ricciardo had to outperform Yuki Tsunoda significantly. Although he managed to do so in some races, it was evident that this prodigal son return story wasn't going to work out as hoped." Ricciardo himself has expressed that he's at peace with how things unfolded, indicating that he has accepted his current situation and is now contemplating what the future might hold. Marko's comments about Ricciardo's competitiveness didn't end there. He also remarked that the Australian lost his edge after he left Red Bull in 2018, making the controversial move to Renault, which many see as the beginning of his career's downward spiral. Marko elaborated further, saying, "I believe leaving Red Bull Racing was the turning point for Ricciardo. After that, he never had a winning car neither at Renault nor McLaren. Yes, he did win at Monza, but that was under special circumstances. We couldn't quite figure out what changed in him. Otherwise, we would have helped." According to Marko, Ricciardo lost that famous killer instinct that once made him a fierce competitor. His late-breaking prowess and daring overtakes seemed to fade, no longer as sharp as they used to be. Additionally, Ricciardo had reservations about the Honda engine at the time and was swayed by Renault's sweet promises. Financially, there wasn't much difference between the offers from Renault and Red Bull, but he still chose to leave, marking the start of an unpredictable chapter in his career. Now, Red Bull faces a dilemma: how much can Ricciardo still contribute to their brand and keep key financial partners, like Visa and Cash App, on board? His departure puts the team in a tricky spot because these sponsors were closely tied to his star power. As I mentioned earlier, the upcoming months will shed light on how these companies react to his absence. The world of motorsport can be unforgiving, where one side's gain is another's loss, and right now, all eyes are on Liam Lawson. The young driver has only 6 races to prove his worth and secure a full-time contract for 2025 with the team. Considering all of this, the big question remains: will Ricciardo embrace a new role as Red Bull's ambassador, and if he does, will it be the perfect fit for his post-racing life? The idea of him stepping into this position certainly aligns with Red Bull's marketing strategies, especially in markets like the US, where his popularity is unmatched. However, taking on such a role would be a stark contrast to the high-octane lifestyle he's been accustomed to on the track. Ricciardo's decision will play a pivotal role in shaping Red Bull's brand growth and maintaining the loyalty of their financial partners. The team knows that his charm and personality are invaluable assets for attracting fans and sponsors. If he agrees to this new path, Red Bull can leverage his star power to keep their sponsors engaged, particularly Visa, Cash App, and Hugo Boss, who might otherwise view his exit as a reason to reconsider their involvement. Still, for Ricciardo, this would mean redefining his identity in the sport he has passionately devoted years to. It's not just about stepping into a new job, it's about embracing a different way of life, one that revolves around public appearances, fan interactions, and promoting the team's values, rather than chasing lap times and podiums. The world of Formula One is ever evolving, with young talents constantly pushing the boundaries, eager to seize any opportunity that comes their way. Ricciardo is now at a crossroads, balancing the decision between pursuing one last chance at racing or transitioning into a new chapter. Whether he becomes an ambassador or finds his way back into the driver's seat elsewhere, one thing is certain: Ricciardo's influence and charisma have left an indelible mark on the sport. With that said, do you believe Ricciardo will choose the ambassador role with Red Bull? Or does he still have one final act left on the racetrack? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And while you're here, don't forget to check out the next video appearing on your screen. So there you have it. The world of Formula One is always full of surprises, and Ricciardo's next move could be just around the corner. Whether he steps into an ambassadorial role or finds his way back to the grid, his journey is far from over. What do you think? Is this the right path for Ricciardo, or will we see him back behind the wheel soon? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear your take. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to stay up to date with all the latest F1 news and insights. Don't forget to ring the bell icon so you never miss an update. Before you go, check out the video appearing on your screen right now for more exciting F1 stories. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.